Hello, I'm Robin. Welcome to BookSpin. Rocannon's World, 1966. This is Ursula K. Le Guin's first published novel, and it's set in the Hainish Cycle universe, which includes her most famous works, The Left Hand of Darkness and The Dispossessed. This is a science fiction novel in the form of an adventure story with a strong fantasy aesthetic. Rocannon is the protagonist in this story, and he is an anthropologist representative of an interplanetary alliance called the League of All Worlds. Rocannon enters the planet Fomalhaut II on an ethnological survey in order to study the native people here. There are a few intelligent races on this planet, including dark-haired humanoids who live in a feudal culture of lords, castles, and swordplay, and the elf-like Fia people, and the mysterious clay folk who resemble dwarves. Early on in the story, Rocannon's spaceship is destroyed, and all his companions are killed in a surprise attack. The attackers are a hostile people from a distant planet who pose a serious threat to the League. It turns out that they are using this planet as a secret base. With his ship lost and his friends killed, Rocannon now is marooned on this technologically primitive planet, and his only hope is to seek out the enemy's base in a far-flung part of the world and use their Ansible to inform the League of the enemy's presence here. Now, if you're not familiar with the term Ansible, it's a fairly common term in science fiction for a faster-than-light communications device, and in fact Le Guin coined the word in this very book. So what follows is basically a heroic quest which contains many tropes that you might find in high fantasy fiction. Rocannon sets out on his epic, dangerous journey with a number of native companions, including the young Lord of Hallan, his loyal servants, and a number of winged steeds known as griffin cats, which are large flying felines that they are able to ride. These beasts are a very handy means of travel in a world lacking any of the high technology of interstellar civilization. The only modern technology, in fact, that Rocannon has still retained is his impermasuit, an especially advanced form of personal armor that is both invisible and skin-tight. Throughout this story, we follow Rocannon and his companions as they encounter many challenges and perils on their long journey. The primary attraction for me in this novel is in the beauty of Le Guin's prose in exploring themes such as companionship, love, courage, loss, exile, and redemption. In common with much of Le Guin's speculative fiction, you can see clearly the influence of cultural anthropology in her writing. It's fascinating to watch how Rocannon attempts to puzzle out the social structures of this world's diverse, intelligent species and how they relate to one another, and how over the course of time he becomes more and more attached to his native companions. In fact, it is quite an emotionally driven story. As a short novel, Le Guin is using the numerous trappings of high fantasy in a tale that is nevertheless grounded in science fiction, to build a fascinating and colourful world, to tell what is actually a fairly straightforward heroic quest narrative, and this gives the story a fable-like feel. If I have any criticism of this novel, I would say that it would be nice to see a bit more character development in Rocannon. We learn nothing about his background or his life before entering Fomalhaut II, and I think the story would be a bit more engaging if we could learn a bit more about his beliefs and his character and what motivates him as his role evolves from that of anthropologist, outsider, to mythic hero. I think if this book was fleshed out a bit more with this kind of deep character study, it would make it a more profound and memorable experience in the mind of the reader, a potential that Le Guin later realised in her magnum opus and masterful sci-fi classic, The Left Hand of Darkness. As it is, Rocannon's world is still a well-written and charming tale, and I'm giving it a score of 3.5 stars. It's now BookSpinner time again, so since my last video I've acquired one new book, that is Trouble with Lichen by John Wyndham. I picked this up at a charity shop, so I've added it to the BookSpinner. So let's see what my next read is going to be. Why Call Them Back from Heaven? Why Call Them Back from Heaven? By Clifford Simak. This is my first Simak novel. It was published in 1967. Why Call Them Back from Heaven? As the years went by, mankind increasingly came to believe a physical second life was possible. In the 21st century, as billions of frozen bodies await revival, their funds are administered by Forever Center, the most powerful institution on Earth. But can the Center afford to revive them? Where will these new masses live? Why are the holies so opposed to revival? And where is Daniel Frost, outcast and fugitive, whose chance discovery could destroy the Center? Sounds intriguing? Review coming soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more science fiction content.